Another sneaky little thing you can do just to make guitar a little bit more exciting, or well, maybe that's why I do these things. I'm a big Jeff Beck fan. Um, I'm a big just guitar fan. And, growing up in Alabama, I heard a lot of steel guitar. I heard a lot of great country players, and that I still gravitate towards the beauty of what a guitar can be. There's a lot of great jazz players out there who, to me, sound like really great saxophone players caught in a guitar player's body. But to me, the beauty of a guitar is like when you pick up a guitar and play a G chord. Those kind of closed clusters. That stuff no other instrument can do. A piano can't do that. The French horn can't do that. So there's a couple little things, I don't know, little quirky things that I do to try to enhance my chord. And there's a couple things I do that I didn't even realize I do. And one of them is like I like open chords, open notes for one reason. For one thing, the more I can get an open note clanging in there, sounds beautiful to me. But you can take a note like this, a chord, like a G chord, add a 9, and just, I do like a little vibrato just on the one thing. I don't know, that's hard to do. For me, it's quite easy just because I've kind of caressed and played guitar for so long, that, but people commented that they noticed that I put a lot of, just on one note, you can get that little vibrato, and it, guitars are never perfectly in tune anyway, so maybe that's what it's doing. It's just making it a little bit more accessible to my ears. But and then I took it to another extreme, and on a couple of my that's a great sound too, where I have the open D and the G. Go up to B, which is the third in the chord. It's almost like a pedal steel thing, isn't it? There's a lot of great guitar players like Bill Frisell and other guys who will actually move the whole guitar for a vibrato effect. You can do that too. But I think a lot can be squeezed out of the guitar, and that's where you get a lot of the tone. I think is from your hands, of course, from your left hand in particular. People don't think about that much, but I think when I was first learning how to solo, when I was a student at Musicians Institute, at the time, the big thing was, Alan Holdsworth, who was a phenomenal, great guitar player. I personally love the slower stuff he did as much as I did the fast, complicated stuff, because he had a really beautiful touch, and he could play the most melodic stuff that you could, whether you had transcribed it or not, you could sing along with his solos, which makes me think of Pat Metheny. I've never transcribed one of Pat Metheny's solos, but I can sing every one of his solos because they're so melodic, and that's a great thing. But guitar is just one of those expressive instruments, things you can do that you can't do on anything else. But when I was back to what I was saying is when I was first learning Alan Holdsworth stuff, I remember sitting with Scott Henderson, was my teacher at school, and he would, before he started using his wang bar a whole lot, he would do his vibrato just on the fretboard by squeezing in between the fret, almost like a violinist would do, doing the vibrato this way, which is easier to do without frets, of course. But he would do it like that, instead of going, where you only get the vibrato going above the fundamental note, which drives me crazy sometimes too. There's some kids come in who are, they have this real fast, kind of fast thing like that. But maybe it's a good thing to concentrate on doing like a vibrato by squeezing tight and just kind of pulling the string from one fret to the other. Because what that did is that developed a lot of strength in my left hand in the different fingers, where I think a lot of my sound, my legato touch, which we'll talk about later on, comes from having that strength in the left hand. But I think it kind of started there, where I was trying to sound like, maybe like a violinist, or maybe like Alan Holdsworth, doing the best I could, doing vibrato like that, where the string is not going up and down at all. So I can go beneath the pitch. but it takes a lot of strength of the left hand, and that's important in being able to finesse different notes that are in the chord. You know, and that's really where a lot of the love and the sweetness comes from guitar to me.